What's up? I'm Amin Dhillon, and welcome to my podcast. I'm sitting down with the movers and shakers and the stars to chat about life, love, business, and being a total boss. It's raw, it's candid, it's the stories behind the headlines. This is In Conversation. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm your host, Amin Dhillon, and welcome back to the show. Today, I'm sitting down for an exclusive chat with rapper and total boss babe, Desi Ma. Thank you so much for being on the show, girl. It's so good to have you. First time ever. So, what's up? How's it going?
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here, and I'm so happy that I'm doing an interview with you. Everything's been going really good. Busy as usual. Just working away at the album, working away at these singles, building a business. So everything's going really good.
So you're keeping busy during a pandemic.
Yes, very busy. I'm like resourcing this time to like make things happen instead of just kind of allowing myself to like just fall back and be like, oh, can't do anything. I think this is a really good time to like just take advantage of and get to like where you need to go to the next step. I know it's a little like, oh, gotta do this, and there's like some precautions, but we're still making the most out of it for sure.
I love that. And actually, I'm the exact same way. I know a lot of people have been really upset about not being able to go out or whatever, but I feel like artist types, we love this time because like we can just bury ourselves inside, lock the door, shut the blinds, and just focus on being creative.
It's true. Yeah. I'm like, more time for the studio. I got like no other really obligations. I can't really do anything much, but it's some downtime to like actually like get some insight on yourself, on your music, where your progress is and what your goals are, and like kind of just reevaluate.
That's amazing. So that means pretty soon, hopefully by the end of the year, we're going to see a ton of new music from you.
Yes, I'm working so hard. I'm working with a lot of big labels, and I'm just working on my album as well, and it's going really well. I got a lot of new music in the works, some Desi hip hop, obviously some Bollywood. So it's just a mixture of both to keep both my audiences in tuned, and like I know you guys are waiting for some new music as well. So definitely on the way. Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're going to get into that, but I want to start off the show just in case some of the viewers haven't had a chance to check you out before. First of all, coolest name ever, Desi Ma, but obviously I know that's not the name you were born with.
I'm not a mom yet.
Yeah, so I got to ask you, your friends and family, what do they call you?
They call me Karen, which
Karen?
is like
so that's the actual name.
But Desi Ma, I actually was in India. Prior to being in the Bollywood industry, I was doing more like R&B and hip hop. So it was kind of like, you know, when you hear like Remy Ma, or you hear like Young Ma, or like, you know, kind of things like that. But it's I don't know, it was different when I guess I didn't quite think of that when I was making the name, but I stuck with it, and I think it's okay. Like people are like Desi Ma or whatever, but I think it's fine now. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I just was like, that's so unique because I was like, you know, there's always a story behind why you pick a certain stage name. So I was like, does she want to be the mother of all rappers? Like, what's happening?
I know. It's always like comes to the mother. No, like what I really wanted to differentiate was I kind of wanted to tap into more of the Bollywood music. When I was like literally in India, and I was like sitting on the manja writing songs, and I was like, I need to, because I used to call myself Miss Killer K, like way back mixtape days, and I wanted to like kind of just rebrand myself, and I wanted to do more of things that were closer to my roots, like more music. So I decided I was going to be called Desi, and then everyone called me Desi. Everyone's like, but like Punjabi people, they're like, what do I call you? I'm like, you can call me Desi. They're like, okay. Like it takes a while for them to kind of like come around, but I just wanted to make sure people knew like where I was from, and I want to represent my roots. So that's why I went for it.
Okay, can I say I love that we're both Winnipeg girls. So could you not have been like Desi Winnipeg Ma? Like
Desi Winnipeg Ma. For this episode, I'm Desi Winnipeg Ma. Honestly, it's so nice to like just be so involved in the industry and be rapping Winnipeg, because not a lot of artists come out from a smaller city, from our city, but it's made me like want to push even harder, because you got like big dreams, but you're from a small city, and I feel like it's just time to put Winnipeg on the map.
Yeah. And I totally get that. That's why I'm just so like proud to see like a fellow
Aw,
Winnipeg girl that is branching out, going global, and also being a female rapper. Because still, regardless if you're talking about the Desi scene or like the non-Desi scene, there's
yeah,
still, it's difficult for women to get into the scene. It's still male dominated.
100%. It's it's definitely male dominated, and like you as a female artist, you have to know that it is 99% business. Getting into music, obviously, it was a passion. It was not even a hobby, but it was more like a therapeutic. Like I used to write poems, so it was more therapeutic for me, and then that transcended into writing songs. So it's something that always stuck with me, and if I can make music for other people, that when you hear a song and you kind of feel uplifted, or you feel like you get those goosebumps down your back of your neck, if I can do that for somebody, like that's what it's done for me. So it's definitely kept me expressive in that way, and just like being yourself is such a, because everyone always tries to mold you into like what they want, and it's cool and everything, but at the end of the day, you always have to stay true to yourself.
But that's tough, especially when you're a new artist trying to find your place, because this is the craziest business to be in, right? Like there's no
Yeah,
manual. You don't know really what's going to be successful and what's not. So you're trying to
yeah,
be what you want to be, what type of music you want to make, content, but then you
yeah,
also obviously want to be successful and make money and get booked. So
yeah.
we'll get into all that. But tell me, Winnipeg though. So like, can we give Winnipeg the credit? Like, was it something about like the music scene there that made you discover that you enjoyed rap and that you actually could rap?
Of course. I give Winnipeg credit for sure. I give just like the culture of music. I think that's what really inspired me. People always ask me like, who do I idolize and stuff like that, but I don't really idolize. Like, I don't have an icon that I'm like, oh, I'm aiming to be her, or I'm aiming to be her. Of course, I was influenced by like, the big names like um, DeBrag, Lil Kim, all of the like Foxy Brown. That's what I grew up listening to. So it was more of like the culture of hip hop that really intrigued me, and that's what really set like that staple in my career. I was like, hey, like I know what direction I want to go, and then I went and I made a lot of hip hop music, a lot of R&B music, and then that's where I was like, okay, like I want to take it even further. And then you get to like the Bollywood side of things. Of course, that's something that I've always had, like it's always resonating with you, like that's your roots and stuff. But it was a big leap for me for sure, and it's going so well. And I don't want to lose the side, like the hip hop side, because that's where it all started from, and that's where like my expression is like fully like out like I can express myself in hip hop music like the best, which as Bollywood music is something that um I later on in life got into.
There's one thing to listen to rappers and to be like, oh, I'm really feeling this music. It's another thing to be like, I want to follow in their footsteps. So tell
Hmm.
me about that moment in your life where it actually became a reality where you're like, hey, I got to figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life. I think
Hmm.
I want to get into music.
Yeah. um there's a certain point where you're like, okay, enough with the mixtapes. I gotta like step it up, like. So I remember I was like 16, and my cousin took me to the studio, and she was like, girl, you need to stop like rapping on answering machines. And like for like it was just a startup. Yeah. So she took me to the studio, and I remember I didn't even know how to write a song. I didn't even know this how to structure a song or how to write a chorus. So that's where at the age of 16 I kind of learned how to actually structure a song. And but when I was 13 I started writing, but until I was 16 I didn't really take it that serious. And then I was like, okay, I got a lot of work to do. Then you kind of like dip your feet into like the whole business aspect of music, and that's where it all started.
So were you teaching yourself or did you have someone locally that kind of took you under their wing?
Yeah, I had someone locally, and I was signed to them for just about a year, and they taught me how to structure a song. I ended up making a little EP with them, and they really helped me. I think that was the best decision I did, was take my cousin's advice and be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the studio. I would go into the booth and I would like rap like, 32 bars, or like rap a whole song without stopping. And they're like, wait. Like, we gotta like, you gotta take a seat. We're gonna show you like how to write a song and how to like compose and like put your words together and like everything. Just, I learned everything there at that first studio. So I was really thankful for that. I'm really thankful for the people that I kept around too, that definitely kept me grounded.
Oh, for sure. And that's what I love about Winnipeg. I feel like there, because it's got that small town feel, like people are
Yeah.
good in Winnipeg. Every time people ask me about what
Yeah.
Winnipeg's like, I'm like, I understand we're not glitz and glam, like let's say Toronto, but I'm
Hmm.
like, the people there, they're good people. Like if they can help you, they're gonna try to help you.
Yeah, they call it friendly Manitoba. And honestly, it's, of course, like, you go to the bigger cities, people don't have as much time,
Mm-hmm.
or people is just like are in it for their own kind of, you know, their own gain. But in Winnipeg, it's different. It's like people are like closely knitted, everybody, everyone knows you. So I've always been that type of person to always make sure I keep like people that are like positive, people that are driven themselves, people that are hardworking, and that's the team I like to keep around me for sure, because it just keeps you on your feet. It keeps you, I don't head down, working all the time, and always aiming for the better.
Yeah. So tell me then about the early days when you start, you're signed to this label for about a year,
Yeah.
you're making music, and then obviously you gotta like get out there. You gotta get people to understand who is Desi Ma to listen to the music. You gotta tour. So actually, you actually opened up for a lot of people like Shaggy. I was reading, I
Yeah.
remember opened for Tyler Shaw.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. Name them. Like name some of the ones I'm missing.
I've opened up for Big Sean. I've opened up for
Yeah.
Movado. I've opened up for Egyptian. I've opened up for like with Winnipeg. It's a little bit smaller city, so like I always get the headline shows, which is nice because
Yeah.
they're like, okay, we know who to like call. We know who's the main act, so it's really nice. Um, I've opened up for Shaggy. That was a really, really amazing time. Yeah, just a lot of big names that got me like that experience in front of a crowd, and it got me to help build my name, not only in my city, but like to have that on my resume and to have that as a like my backups, which is nice.
Of course. Okay, so you're out there, you're hustling, you're opening up for these big acts, and then when is the big break?
Yeah. So after, actually during that process where I was signed with the first, my first label, I was actually doing a lot of community work with the community, and I would actually like do hip hop, like workshops with less fortunate kids that kind of like had time, didn't have like much, but I used to run a music program, and we would go out and we would like reach out to these kids and help them like write songs, make music videos for them, and it was so inspiring. And then that's when I really knew that like, okay, I need to take this to a bigger scale. This is something that I really love to do. I love giving back. And after that contract was up, I did not resign with them. I ended up working really hard and just releasing my music, and then I got a phone call from UK. And when I went to UK, that's when things started really blowing up, and I went out there for about a few years, and I started dabbling my feet into more of like the Desi scene.
Wait.
And
So who's the phone call from though? Some random person was like, come to the UK, and you're
no,
like, sure?
so you guys probably heard of Surrender Ratin. So shout out to Surrenderata and shout out to Mango Beats. They actually helped me develop so much in the music industry, the Desi hip hop scene. So they were really like, I didn't have investment around me. The thing with them, they were really like, okay, like, yo, that sounds good, or you know what, that sounds bad. And yeah, take criticism really well, because I always feel like you can always learn. There's always room to learn. So I was around Oh Yes Man. It was like really like, yo, you got this much time, you gotta get this done. There's a deadline, go. And it was very like straining, but at the same time, that's where I grew the most. Because I feel like some people work really good under pressure, and that's what it felt like out there. Because UK is so busy. There's so much music coming out of UK. There's such a big scene. And that's where I had to really like see how diverse I can be and what I can get my feet into, and like what can I really do and push myself. And I think that was the time in my life where I was just really like I grew the most for sure.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're in the UK, you're still, learning, you're making music because it's one
Yeah.
thing to be in the studio, right? But you want now the fans to discover you.
Yeah. So when I was out in UK, obviously like a different producer started hollering at me. After I did the track with Ari with Joga Singh, shout out to him. I ended up getting a lot of great feedback on that. And till this day, like that song is a staple, and that song always gets brought up everywhere I go. They're like, "Oh, I love that song." It's such a dance song, so it's a good vibe, good feel. After I did that song and I actually released my first single, mausam, with Big Bird, I think that was my big break because I didn't want to settle for less. I actually wanted to get the big label behind it, and I pushed to get like the best of the best. And everyone was like, "Oh, yo, you got like a good label already." I'm like, "No, like I want to take it to the top. I want the best of the best." And honestly, it was so nice to work with Bird because they're so humble. Big Bird, shout out to him. Shout out to the whole team, like Brown Boys. They are such hardworking people. They're so humble. And it was such a good vibe. It was such a genuine vibe. Like we just ended up connecting so well. And he's like, "Yo, like you're dope." And I gave him a track, built a beat around it, he built the song, the production around it, and it ended up doing really well. And then I got into um, more more like Bollywood stuff, and that's when Gully Boy really hit, and that's when everything kind of just took off.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that because Gully Boy is still huge. Like so many people talk about that. It really set the bar. It actually gave such a big platform for rappers. I know so many people that were like, finally a mainstream movie in Bollywood is actually featuring music because apparently the rap scene, especially in India, is huge, but it
It's
never gets
huge.
featured in movies, right? It's always like the like kind of
Yeah.
typical Hindi music you'll see.
Yep.
So Gully Boy, huge. Ranveer Singh, how did you get a part of this film? That's really amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's one of my biggest accomplishments. And um, that's when I went independent. I ended up just going independent because I was like, hey, you know what? Like, I gotta take, like I said, it's 99% business, so you have to take business into your own hands. And as a female artist, like sometimes it's very like, okay, no, like people think they know the best for you, but you know the best for you. So when I went independent, I got different management, and we ended up getting a flood of work coming in through like all these big different labels, and Gully Boy happened to be one of them. They reached out to me and they were like, "Yo, we need a girl rapper on this, and we think you would sound amazing." So I think when I went to the theater and I watched that movie and I seen my name in the credits, that's where I was like, because I'm kind of hard, you're your own worst like critic, and
Mm-hmm.
you're the hardest on yourself. That's when I actually was like, okay, all right, go girl. You get in places. So it was a really nice reassurance for all the hard work that I put in prior to that, all the sacrifices I made, and we're still going strong.
Of course. Okay, so obviously to be part of a big film like that, all of a sudden then everyone is seeing your name in the credits, right? And hearing the song. So how has that changed your life now? Cuz I feel like now like things are like, okay, here we go. Like now
Mhm.
all the other big names are like, oh, if she's on Gully Boy, we got to be working with her too, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of people reaching out. Obviously, it's definitely changed my, I guess, like my like the way I've evolved in the music industry. I am who I am. I don't change. Like all these opportunities, they don't really change the person I am, but the only thing that changes is that I just get better at my craft, and I just make sure I'm taking the right steps to get to to fit into those right pockets. That was just something that was just, you know, I think I deserved it. Definitely. I was been working so hard. So I don't know. It was just something that I guess was lined up, and there was no other like female rapper on that Goriye track, which I felt okay. Like I have to deliver. I have to make sure that it is the best I can do, and everyone was happy about it. Like I remember like watching the video or the movie, and I was like, and he's like, this rap shap, da 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 da. And then like right away the song stops, and I was like, oh my God. But this movie was such a big thing for Desi hip hop, because like you said, it's huge. The whole like industry, the whole hip hop industry is huge. And just to have a movie that just kind of inspires all the youth, all the upcoming artists, it was just much needed. It was like the 8 Mile of Desi hip hop almost. Like that's how I always look at it. And it always gives like, I'm sure like a lot of inspiration to upcoming artists as well.
Yeah. So do you feel like now Bollywood is moving towards featuring more hip hop and rap in upcoming projects?
Definitely do think that there is more rap. And it's not just like, you know, English rap, there's Punjabi rap, Hindi rap. So I think they're making more room for rappers, which is amazing, because people, like I said in the beginning, they always try to fit you in that criteria. They're like, oh, you must be a singer, or can you sing this for me? And I'm like, well, I can do what I do, but like I'm actually a rapper. So getting into that whole scene, I think it was much needed.
In the music industry, in the entertainment industry, it's still really difficult for women, right? And it's difficult for women that do like are just singers that are very commercial. But for a female rapper, I know a lot of people would be like, okay, the preference is for men. I mean, even look at the posters for shows. It's always like the biggest photos are the men, and then maybe a little photo is the female, and it's always one with like 10 guys. And I'm like, I would love to see a tour or just even one huge show of just all boss babes. Like, right? It'd be amazing, but I still haven't come across anything. So tell me, behind the scenes, what is it like actually for a woman to be in the music industry, especially in the Desi scene?
It's tough. Like at the end of the day, you just have to have like, you know, you just have to be strong. You have to have a good head on your shoulders. People are gonna come at you left and right. And I've met a lot of big names, and they always give me their input. You know, some are so positive. They're like, next year, you know, I'm gonna see you doing this big things. And some people are like, okay, yeah, that was good, like cool. And then like you never hear back from them. But I think but I think for right now, like it's still kind of male dominated. And like if I could reach out to all of the women out there that are in the Bollywood and say, like, we always say it in every interview, we always say it like everywhere you go, like women empowerment, this and that, but we need to actually follow along with them. We need to actually start doing these things, because we have a voice. Like our voices, like women's voices matter, and we like tell our stories, and we're telling it from a woman's point of view, and it's not the same as a man's point of view. Like, you know, guys walk up in there, dabs, boo, like, they support each other. Girls, it's tough. It's like you have to like break the ice, and then you have to like, you know. But I've been reaching out to a lot of like well-known artists, like female artists for the album and stuff, and like I've been getting really good feedback. So I'm all for it. I want to see more like you said, like if I could go on a show and just have female artists with me, I would love that. I'm all for that, and I think we need to see more of that for sure.
Do you think we could maybe see an upcoming collaboration? Not even just one, but a bunch of you featuring other female rappers?
Yes,
I would love that.
100%. Yeah.
Anything we can talk about? Anything that's in the mix here?
I can't talk about too much, but just expect more like women features for me as well, because I do have already like the guys features. They're always down to work. You just message them, da, da, da. But with the girls, it is a little bit harder to get to them because sometimes it's like their management, or sometimes it's someone else that's like, you know, making them say yes or no. Like it's always the management. It's unless you have unless you're independent, like Jasmine Sandler. She's independent. She's finally got her own, like, her label. So big shout out to her. She's doing amazing, and that's the caliber that I think I want to be on. Like, I don't want to have to, you know, go through somebody and be like, okay, like, am I able to work with this person? Like, that's how it is when you are signed to a label. Like, it is very like yes, no, yes, no. And when you're independent, you have all the freedom, and you have more like creative freedom to do what you want. And I think that's what we need as women as well, because I couldn't be sitting in the room writing 12 songs like, you know, span of a week. And it's like, okay, you got a party song, you got another party song, you got another party song, and another party song, and another party song. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, I could do that. But like, when am I going to be able to like talk about the things I want to talk about? When am I going to be able to like, it's like, I don't know. It's like once a woman is like empowered and strong and talking about her feelings, it's like people really do feel threatened, and they shouldn't feel like that. It should just be more empowerment. It should just be more like, yo, cool. Like, Dad, like, she's doing her thing. Let's go like see what she's about. Like, I think it should be more about that than being like I would say, don't focus on getting signed. Focus on being yourself and expressing yourself and reaching out to those people that you want to reach out to, because you will end up getting those emails back. You will end up like hearing back from them, but it's all on you, and it's all on the way you deliver your music and your production to see if they want to get on and support. That's how it is. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I also want to talk about, I mean, obviously, I want to talk about you. I also want to make sure that other women that are watching this interview feel excited about pursuing their passion, about getting into the music scene, because I think representation is so freaking important. You know, I think we live in such a great time right now as South Asian women, because never before were we able to have so many doors open for us. But we still got a lot of work to do. And I know, especially for the next generation, I want to make sure that they have an even easier time following whatever
100%.
their dream is. So let's talk about boss moves. Let's talk about making money. So, you know, you obviously are independent. I mean, you've got people around your team, but at the end of the day, you're calling the shots. So when you're trying to turn this whole thing into like a full-time career, make that money, pay those bills, do you feel respected and you're able to command that money? Or do you feel like there's still a lot of issues or barriers in terms of you being able to make the money that you deserve?
I think when I was signed, that's where it was a little bit like, okay, like, I want to know how much is coming in. I want to know how
Yeah.
much, like, you know, but now that I'm independent, like I said, I know my prices. I know what I charge for whatever it is. If it's like a verse, if it's a full track, and you can't, you know, you got to know the worth of yourself. So at the end of the day, like, when people are like, oh, but can I just get it for this price? Or I'm like, oh, like, these are the prices. Like, my management is very like, yo, this is it, and you have to remember, like, the struggle and everything that you've went through as an artist, as a female artist. Like, for them to pay respects, you have to, like, you know, get these big names. You have to like make sure you're up there with these people and these other artists that, you know, you see on TV. You have to be at that same, like, you have to have those breaks. You have to stay consistent. And of course it's hard work, but at the end of the day, that's how you get to the top. And then once you're there, you have to know your worth. You have to put your feet down and be like, okay, well, like, I'm sorry, I can't work with you. Or if you're looking for a certain feature, like, sorry, like, this is like, and people have to see that worth. And once you kind of put your foot down and you have like your management that you trust, everything kind of takes off for itself. And I think I'm at that level right now where, like, I know my worth, and people see the worth, and they see, like, okay, if I do a song with her, like, I know I can do this, I can get this, da 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 da. And it's nice because now I know what I can do for other people as well. It's not like I'm just offering my single or my voice or my lyrics. I'm offering, like, hey, okay, you want to like drop it with a big label, like, you know, you have to make sure you do the business side of things, and you always have to deliver it in a certain way to always remain at that level.
Let me ask you, how do you learn that? Are you like reading on the music industry? Are there like podcasts that talk about, how to make good money, like royalties, all that like jazz that's in the music scene? Like, how do you become educated so you're not just making the music, but you got to know the business side to it too, right? How do you do that?
Yeah. Um, like early on, I was like, since I was 16, I kind of knew that I had to take charge. Actually self-taught, like I self-taught a lot of business.
Mhm.
Like I read a lot of business books. I have a business on the side as well. So I'm very business savvy. And I think that's important, like, especially for a female, like, you don't want no one to exploit you. You know, you don't want no one to like end up just using you and then getting all the gain, and then you kind of like, you know. So I always tell girls, like, women, educate yourself. Educate yourself. Like, that's knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Read them books. Like, yeah, you can take a business class. That's cool. Whatever you need to do to invest in your product or whatever it is in your career, you have to like keep it 99% business. And people forget that, because people look at the TV and they're like, oh yeah, she probably is like, you know, like this, that, doesn't have to do anything. No, like, it's hard work, and you can't forget you can't forget the business side, because it's like 1% like fun and games, and it's like all there for the camera, but it's 99% business. And like, yeah, people's feelings get hurt, but at the end of the day, when you own all your music and you own all the rights to your stuff, you're in control. You're your own boss. So I always tell people, make sure you know that side, and it's only going to help you. It's only going to add worth and value to your business, your name. So I think it's crucial in this day and age, especially because there's so many people that'll just like do it for their gain, and you're blindsided by a lot of things. And it's like, great, you kind of, you know, they gave you all the perks and all the fun stuff, but it's like, I could be making way more. I could be like getting to like a couple bags by now, like, instead of just, you know, breaking off whatever may be there. So always keep it 99% business, always.
Of course. Okay, but let's do a little fun question now. I mean, it's great when you make that first big paycheck, right? So, do you
Yeah.
remember what you did with your first big paycheck? Like, did you splurge a little? A little?
Yeah, you know what? I always put it back into my music. So right now, I'm working on visuals and videos for the album as
Mhm.
well. And whatever I make, I splurge. Of course, the splurge, you know, girls like her diamonds and things. But I always make sure that it goes back into my music, because that's where it's going to benefit me again and
Yeah.
again and again. So right now, like with the visuals, I'm very picky, and I just think that's a good thing, because you kind of know what you want and you're always aiming for the best. So I'm always aiming to work with the best videographers, with the best producers, with the best like labels, and that's, to me, is very important, to always put back into my career and always just keep climbing until until I'm where I'm at. But still then, like, I'm always going to want to give back to the community. I'm always going to want to build for the next generation, and that's just
Mhm.
who I am. So I always have to remind myself, like, okay, yeah, you know, you splurge a little bit, but the rest goes back into the music, and focus on the next move and focus on the move after that. So
Yeah.
it's really rewarding after like everything's, you see it on TV, you see labels drop it. It's really rewarding to see the end result.
Girl, I know. Trust me. And also, I love that you're investing in yourself because I do the same thing. I mean, like, obviously, I make this a full time career, but the amount of equipment, I'm always like trying,
Right?
that never stops. Like, even when you
And
think
there's
you've got
always new
everything.
stuff.
Yeah. There's technology. It's like, even if you bought, let's say, a camera, my situation, the next year there's going to be even fancier camera. And you're like, well,
Exactly.
now what do I do with this other camera? So trust me, I
Hmm.
have a lot of that. I wanted to ask you, let's start with the reaction. Like, I know, like I said, again, you're obviously such a sweet girl. You obviously have a business mind. But again, in our community, you don't see a lot of women that are rappers, right? So
Yeah.
let's first talk about the reaction. So when you first started getting out there performing, especially when you're putting out your singles, what was the reaction like from the community?
They were confused. They were like, what?
I'm not surprised.
To be honest, they were like, okay, okay. And like I said, until Gully Boy came out and was that movie for a lot of people, it opened their eyes. But still, like when I first came out, people were like kind of taken by surprise. And some people were just like, the hip hop heads, they were like, finally more fusions with like hip hop, with Desi music and hip hop. And it was crazy to see both. And I'm one of those people that I'm like, I don't want to look at the comments, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I just want to see what people say. At first, I was getting a lot of like, okay, who's she trying to be like? Or is this the Cardi B, Nicki Minaj? But like, at the end of the day, they're always going to compare you to someone that is known to them. And to me, it was like, okay, like I haven't really fit in my pocket yet. I haven't really shown people like what I'm really about. I'm just coming out with these songs. People are just trying. It's like when you see something, and it's human nature. I can't blame the peoples. It's human nature because it's always like we judge before we even get to know anyone. Like it's like you see something, you judge it. You see a person acting this way, you're gonna judge it, and it's human nature. So like I don't take it personally. I'm always growing. I'm never trying to prove anything to anyone. I'm always just trying to prove things to myself that like you can be versatile. And I don't want to change my ways. I always want to be like who I am, and I want people to resonate with the real me, and that's really important to me.
Okay. But do you, especially when you see some of those comments that maybe aren't so positive, does that ever, maybe not so much now, but in the beginning, was that ever hard to stay passionate and motivated?
No. It was more like, damn, you really got time to like comment this? Like, why don't you go do something? Because me, if I don't like something, like right now, like for example, like the new Cardi B video, I think it was just way too over sexualized. When I seen that video, I was like, I never comment. Like I don't comment negative comments ever. If I don't like anything, I go on with my day. But that really got to me because it was just too much, and I was like, wow, this is the direction of our not our hip hop, but like kind of like the music direction of the mainstream. And I was just really like, I was like, damn, like remember when Missy Elliott came out with them cool videos? Like she was not showing, she could wear a garbage bag, but her music spoke for herself, Lauryn Hill. So I always make sure like I don't want to over sexualize myself. I don't want to be showing too much skin. I want my music to speak for itself. I want to be respected in the game, but at the same time, like I'm not gonna change who I am because us girls, we like to get ready. We like to look good. We want to show a little bit of cleavage. We want to show a little bit of leg. That's cool, but I don't want my music to be like, okay, this is why she got here because she's selling herself or whatever. But yeah, of course, every video I do, every photo shoot I do, it runs through my head, and I always have to make sure that I'm well put together, that people don't see me as a sex figure or just like want to portray me as that. So of course, like I'm trying, like I don't know, I was not down with that video, and I was just like, yo, like I'm so mad because I expected more. But then you go and you see what they're doing is they're trying to control the masses. They're trying to persuade us to think like this is actually women empowerment. This is women empowerment. But it's like it's not the way to do it. It's like you have to think about those younger girls that are looking up to you, and you're like they're 11, 12 years old, and you're like they're watching Cardi B, they're watching these girls twerk and shake their ass. Like that's what they're gonna want to do. And you always have to like remember, like be yourself, but like do it with respect in class. Always. Like that's a big thing for me. Even like when I did the char sojin, like it was like bar after bar after bar. And I just want my music to speak for itself. Like I just want you to be like, yo, like I love her music, not like, yo, like damn. Like you can be like that, but like, it's more deeper to me for sure.
You want to be known for your talent. There's like a double standard. They're always like afraid of women going off the deep end, right? Like, I just know how it is, right? They're always like, if you allow your daughter to get into the entertainment industry, she's going to be taken advantage of. She's going to, like,
Yes.
lose her character and all this like nonsense. But then I feel like when parents see videos like that, it reinforces that fear. So I just was like, I kind of feel like you're setting back the movement, because now actual talented female rappers that are coming up in maybe marginalized communities,
Mm-hmm.
especially as children of immigrants or from very conservative communities, they're not going to get the support from their family and their community. It just feels really
Exactly.
unfair.
Of course, there's always like, yeah, you can go that route, and eventually people are just gonna look at you and they're gonna be like, okay, like I've seen everything, like, so like what else is there to, you always gotta keep that mystery, you always gotta keep that class for yourself, and you always gotta like just not let people mold you to like what they think is best for you. And that's a big thing.
Yeah. And if you're going to get into the music industry, be known for your talent. Like, that's what I always like push for people. It's like, don't be just that person that looks good, right? Or uses auto tune. Like, actually have the talent and don't be afraid to rely on just your talent. Let me ask you your family though, then. So when you were like, mommy, daddy, at the dinner table, I don't know how you broke the news to them, but you were like, hey, I'm going to pursue this full time. What was the reaction like?
When I started when I was 13, and then by the time I was 16, um, my parents thought I had a boyfriend. They were like, "What? Where are you going? Where are you staying?" I was like, I'm a singer." I didn't even want to tell them I was a rapper. I was like, "I'm a singer." They're like, "Sing for us." I was like, "I'm a rapper." Like, and they, luckily my parents are really supportive. I was like, "Come to the studio. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm working on." They would always like drive me to the studio, and they were like skeptical to go in. I'm like, "Just come in, come in." And once they like kind of came in and see what like I was about, where I wanted to take my career, they were on board. They were like, "Wow!" Like, and then my songs got started playing on the radio, and then I started getting like a lot of recognition. Then my mom was like, "Oh, okay." Like people would come up to my mom and I would be like, "Oh, like we heard your daughter do this now. Like, go for it." Then they were like, "Okay, like." You know what, she's actually doing it. But at first, of course, like they're skeptical. Like you see what's on TV, and as a parent, you just want to protect your kids, right? Like you just want to be like, no, you shouldn't do that. Go be a doctor. Go be a nurse. I'm like, it's not for me. I'm gonna like just be honest with you guys. Like I'm a rapper. And then I remember we were driving, and my mom was like, "Oh, you sound different when you rap." I was like, "Yeah, okay." And that was like all she said. And then after that, they actually encouraged me to go to UK and take that opportunity, because I was kind of just doing R&B and hip hop, like in the urban community, not in the Desi community. So they're like, "No, like go out there and take it further." So just to have their blessings, honestly, probably was the best feeling in the world.
The musical talent though, are you like the first person in your family to be into music, or is this kind of like something that's been passed on generations?
I'm actually the first person to take it seriously. Like I have an uncle who kind of sings and stuff, but my mom, she's a really like, she like choreographed all our dances back in the
Oh
day, and she
wow.
loved music. My mama actually is like, they're just all into like dance and music. So growing up, like we were always like kind of creative, and I was always like making my own songs, and I had a little girl group like through elementary, and I was like always bossing everyone around. Like, so I kind of grew up just knowing that, hey, like this is what I want to do. But like in the back of my mind, I didn't know how serious it was going to turn out to be. But it was always something that I was like supported. My mom was like, "Okay, like I'll help you choreograph your songs or whatever dances or medley we had, back in the day." So it was nice. It was nice to have that environment around me to definitely like um, be so creative and take that to where I am today.
I'm so glad to hear that. By the way, when you were telling your parents that you're going to make this a full-time career, did they have any restrictions? Like, were they like, listen, we're cool with you doing that, but you better graduate or do this or this so we know that you have a fallback plan?
Yeah, like I graduated when I was 16. I was always like kind of like I'm always into my studies. Like I like I said, I believe like knowledge is power. I have a business that I run as well. So I've always been like, I don't know, I never have like 10 minutes to sit down. That's just the type of person I am. I've just been so driven. Like coming from an immigrant household, like my mom was always working 3 jobs and stuff. So like watching her, I was like, I have to do the same. And now people are telling me like, yo, slow down, like, sit down for 10 minutes. I'm like, I can't. Like, I'm always going, I'm always like thinking about the next move. I'm always thinking about, okay, what's the next plan? Okay, what I can do here, what can I do here? And it's all genuinely done. So I feel like I'm so happy, like, to get to where I am. Like it's really nice because I look back and I'm like, I'm glad I'm not there no more. I'm glad I'm not there no more. And you just keep growing. You just keep growing. And then like if you hit some bumps, you hit some bumps. You know that's only gonna make you stronger at the end.
Yeah. Is there a moment in your career that you look back and you like wish you could redo it?
I thought about that to myself honestly, and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would redo anything. Like maybe like there's certain things like I did have big breaks earlier on in my career when I was signed, but um, you know, everything kind of pans out. What's meant for you is always going to be meant for you, and you're always going to receive those blessings from God, no matter what. Like no one can ever stop your shine. No one ever can stop like your show. Like if anyone's trying to bash you, like so what? Like the day, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have those opportunities flowing in because what's meant for you is meant for you, and no one can take that away from you. So like I always think about, yeah, like damn, like I had to like sleep on the couch and I had to like fucking do my shit for like so many months, but at the end of the day, like it made me stronger as a person, made me who I am. And like those are the times where I grew the most. So I don't regret anything because it built a lot of characteristic traits for me during those times. And I wouldn't be who I am without that.
Oh, I totally agree. And I also feel like during those difficult times where you're sleeping on the couch, where you're like maybe struggling with
Mm-hmm.
money, the in between gaps when you're like, oh, those paychecks, like it's kind of dried up better, like, put out more music or get more gigs. That's where you really know you want it. I think it just helps
Yeah.
you reinforce why you're doing it in the first place. Cause I do think there's some people that think it's so glitz and glam, like you're mentioning, that think like, oh, I want to be famous. Oh, I want to have music videos. But then when they
Yeah.
have to put that hard work in, that's what weeds out the people that are in it for the wrong reason. So I think then if you can survive all that, like this is the right path for you. You are in it for the right reason. So it builds your character and also does make you stronger.
Yeah, 100%. I will never forget those times. I'm like, yo, like I learned more about myself through those times than I ever did ever. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I grew spiritually, I grew mentally, I tried to go physically. I made sure I was pushing myself to the limit because it was like, to me, at that stage of my life, it was like now or never. It's like, okay, like your parents are counting on you, your family's counting on you. I had pressure, like I wanted to make everyone proud. I wanted to make something out of every opportunity that I was taking, and like my parents were always so supportive, so that gave me even more like fuel. And like then them saying like no you can't do it, and it's like it's not like I want to stop, but it just people are counting on you, so and you're counting on yourself to kind of like get through those times. So do whatever you have to do. It kind of takes you into like different pathways. Like I remember I was sleeping on the couch, but I would meditate every day. I was meditating, I was manifesting, I was making sure like everything I wanted was flourishing. And when I would see it flourish, I'd be like, okay, that was worth it. I'm gonna get a good night's sleep tonight. That came out exactly how I wanted, even better. Like, good job. Like, and you have to recognize those moments too, because sometimes like you just like forget that what you're asking for is actually flourishing, and you have to be thankful of when you do see those things like unfold. So I've always been like very thankful and very like just connected to myself and connected to my like spirituality and who I really am and what I'm here to do. And there's always like a bigger picture. Like this is obviously like something that I love and I love to do, but I always want to like at the end of the day, like when I'm like 89 years old, like I want to be sitting on the rocking chair making sure the next generation is good and they're like have like good music to listen to. Like I always think about yo, like all this music is just so like it went from like selling drugs to like doing drugs and like to like being a drug dealer to like being an addict, overdosing. Like music has evolved so much. So like you have to think about like what are people thinking when they hear these songs? Like what kind of music do you want to put out? Like I'm thinking about like right now I'm actually working on a double album because I feel like I can do the Bollywood side too, but I want to make sure like people are like know me, and they can like turn on the music and feel good and be like, okay, like she's talking some real stuff. Like I want to listen to that, not like the same stuff that we were talking about like in those videos and stuff, because it gets boring after a while. Like you just dumb yourself down after a while. So there's always a bigger picture. You always got to think of that.
Okay, so then let's actually talk about the upcoming double albums. Girl, you like to
I
keep
should
busy.
not have said that. But
and the new music.
Work.
So I know you're trying to keep things under wrap, but like tell us a little bit about like maybe the next single that's coming out, like just what we can look forward to seeing.
The next single I'm probably gonna put out is a single with me and Haji Springer. Shout out to Haji, shout out to the whole gang out. And I just want to like, that's more like Desi rock style. So that's more like urban, our vibe. That's going to be on the album too, but we just finishing up the video. It's actually just getting edited, and that's probably going to be the next one that I'm going to release, and you can look out for that one. There's a lot of big like names on the album, but that will be the next project to definitely come out.
Okay, girl, you gotta spill. You keep telling me you got all these big names and you don't spill.
I can't spill everything. I can't spill everything. I know before I was so used to like just saying like certain things, but I don't want to give everything out. Like I'm working on a double album. I have, some really good names on the Desi scene, the Bollywood scene that are featured on my album. And then I have a more real like R&B rap vibe, which I've always been doing. Just a step up, like just another caliber, always stepping it up. I don't want to give out too many names, but just know it's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing. And I know everyone's waiting, but I just love to build the suspense.
Oh yeah, you really love doing that. Okay, so this won't be a confirmation of if you've worked with them or not, but who is the dream artist that you would kill to work with?
Right now I really want to work with like Diljit. I want to work with I would love to work with Jazzy B. I gotta keep things on the low, but definitely like there's been like opportunity there, so I'm just like trying to like obviously Diljit would be my all-time favorite. Jasmine Stanilis, just get the whole like women empowerment. Those are some names that I'll probably be like really happy with for sure.
I want that for you. Like, I want you, like, I'm trying to picture that music video that Taylor Swift did with all of her, like, female friends that were just, like, there and they're all strong and they're, like, And
we need that. We need that.
Yeah. So I want you to do that because no one else is doing it. So I want you to bring all these females together. They don't even have to be rappers, just, like, strong women killing it in their industry. And I want you to have, like, a big music video. I feel like it's probably going to be in some sort of industrial center because you want that like hardcore, like, look. And I want you guys just to like bring it. And I want everyone to be like, damn, like what a party anthem. And it's celebrating women and their achievements. So that's on you, girl.
I'll do that on you. I'll be like, this is for you. No, I want that too. And I want that for our industry and I want that for our women too. So just know that I'm working on those things. Those things really matter to me. And those things are the kind of things that are going to open other people's eyes, like the mass consumers. Like they're going to look at women and music and the rap industry a little bit different when they do see us working together. Because right now everyone's kind of just so split up. And it's gonna like go through so many people to get through this person. But at the end of the day, like we should just be able to work with one another if you respect them, if you like their vibe. Like I feel like we do need to come together. Like DMC, what's her name? DMC, Jasmine, like Raja Kumari is doing her thing. I would love to see a whole like collab with everybody and just put it out there just so people can feel empowered and feel like, yo, the ladies are up on the board, they're doing their thing. It means a lot. It means a lot to us, and it means a lot to the women, the young women out there too. Because I remember when like you would see like like a collab with who was it, like the Moulin Rouge was like back in the day with like Christina Aguilera, Lil' Kim.
Oh yeah.
All those
Or
ladies,
like Brandy and Monica, they did a collab.
Yeah,
there's a bunch. Oh yeah, even for one of those Disney movies, Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey did a collab for one of them too. So amazing.
Yeah, we need more of that for sure.
Well, girl, I've put it out there, so it's your job to execute. I will help you out if you need some support. So then you're going to work on this. So in 2021, we're going to see this big single, and then I want you to do the first ever all-female tour, okay?
Yeah, you know what? You're not the only one that's telling me that. A lot of people are telling me that. So I hope I can, like, be the one to definitely make that happen. And I will try my hardest. I will make sure that I can do what I got to do for us women out there to make sure we come together a little bit more.
I know you can do it. That's why I'm telling you this. I'm like, I haven't even met you. This is the first time we're meeting, but I can just tell.
This is what you're like believing in me so hard. No, that means a lot. And I hope, like, I just hope that we can deliver to the masses and give them what they want at the end of the day.
Okay, awesome. So super excited to see what the rest of the year and what next year brings from you. Now, before I let you go, I want to make sure the viewers get a little taste of the new music. So I'll let you pick, but I would love if you could right now just drop some lines from either the upcoming single or maybe like the current single, whatever, because I know you're very mysterious. So just want to give everyone a taste of your talent in person.
Okay, I choose Long Nights. And honestly, when I did that track, I was just talking about like how it is to be a female, and I wanted the chorus to be a little bit more inspiring, and I just wanted it to be a little bit more like for the women and let them know that like, you know, you can do what you want to do, and you just gotta be yourself, have faith. And so I'll just rap the first verse and we can get into Long Nights. It goes, Thodi hogi bus, sada motive has such ya. You just such a cuss. My flow give them a rush. Yeah. Tonight is girls' night. Shake your body, I nudge. DJ play my gonna geek, chai the menu dust. My figure cut like gacho and look what you can't touch. That come about to budge. Everywhere showing love, you get swept under like dust. Say you love it, but it's lust. The music come first, like the money in my clutch. I keep it so clutch. Lambiarata, you know I keep it so clutch. Lambiarata, you know I keep it so. Lambiarata asilangaya. Vela mandeni si hon lokan lakaya. Do perate kharke sanaya. Sadi gudiyan rab ne chadaiya. Fix pare ro. If you a snake then pare ho. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, are you sure you don't want to do a couple lines of the new single?
I can't. No, I can't. Okay. But you know what? I will definitely touch base with you before I release the album. And when things are a little bit more, I know what's happening with each song, I can definitely come back and do a little preview for you before the album drops.
Awesome. Well, girl, it was so good to, I guess, virtually meet you. I love that we're both from the same place, but we never met. It's so
I know. One day. We need to hang out.
I was actually just in Winnipeg. It was awesome to be back. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
I'm back in Toronto now, but
home is home, right?
People just give you so much love. Like anytime I bump into, especially people from our community, they're like, "Oh my God, hi, we watch you all the time.
You're doing so well." Like my management told me about you, and then they were like, "Yo, like she's from Winnipeg." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "She's from Winnipeg. Like we have to do an interview with her." Like I love seeing that. So big kudos to you, man. Keep doing your thing. You're doing so well.
But that's why as soon as I saw you and I looked you up and I saw you're from Winnipeg, I was like, oh, yes, for sure. Because I'm just so excited that you're from Winnipeg. Because I just know, like, I always want to support people from Winnipeg. I think we have so much talent. But it's just, I always feel like we get passed over. Like, people are like, oh, Winnipeg. Like, you know, it's like, you know, look at Drake. He's always rapping Toronto, T dot, the Sigs, blah blah. I'm like, we've got talent from Winnipeg too. Like, let's rap. Let's put it on the map, right?
I know. It's time to put it on the map.
Definitely. So we're doing something, girl. I don't know what we're doing in 2021, but we're gonna do something to put Winnipeg on the map and to put girl power on the map there.
Let's do it. I'm with it all the way, and we're doing it already. So thank you for having me on, and thank you for letting me share my story and my side of the whole music industry and what I've been through. And I hope it inspires and empowers a lot of women out there, and not only women, but just artists in general.
Amazing. Thanks so much, girl. It's been great.
Yes. Thanks for having me on, love.
Hey guys, I hope you loved today's interview. Now, if you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing.